Welcome back to The Truth with Trinity. And I am your host, Trinity. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, I wanted to send you a warm welcome. Here I talk about issues that happen within the black community, hopefully to gain some insight, to gather some type of resolution, or at least some type of food for thought to go about your daily way. So, without further ado, I'd like to jump into this episode's topic: Mother, where are you? Okay, so I'll make a small disclaimer. This isn't all mothers and all black mothers. There's some beautiful mothers out there. Keep up the hard work. But this is the topic at hand here, okay? So the topic, once again, is Mother, where are you? So, as a mom is a pretty tough job. I'm a mother myself, so I definitely understand, okay? The persistence, the life force energy you give up to raise, human beings to go out on their own one day into society. And, you'll hear some mothers say, I'll give my life for my child. And don't get me wrong. Naturally, most mothers, we're not going to say all, but most mothers want the best for their child. And what we have to realize as mothers, it's more than just saying, I'll give up my life, take a bullet, okay, or I'll, step in front of a car that, is on the pathway to my child, to take the hit from the car. It's more than that. Um, Being a mother, when you say give up your life, you have to give up your time sometime. The time that you would spend being free, you have to spend that time with your children. Commitment. This is a commitment, and that means when everyone else leaves, or if everyone else gives up on your child, that you're going to stick around. Okay? The self-discipline to enforce the other two parts, which is the commitment and the time in your life. Okay? And I wanted to talk about some issues that can arise and some things that may happen that can cause you not to be that type of mom. Sometimes you may still want to party, and there's nothing wrong with partying, because even as a parent, you still, need your socializing, your adult time. But what happens when you party too much, when you're out more than you are in the house with your child? And some factors that contribute to that is too young of an age, to have children. Just because you have a menstrual cycle and your body produces those type of functions to be able to have children doesn't mean that you're at a mental or financial space to have children. And don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I partied a lot, and that's why, it's best to wait till you're, got all that out of your system so that you can stay grounded and stable to be able to raise offspring. Another reason that mothers may stay away longer than what they should away from their children on a day-to-day basis is because the father is gone. So you've broke up, he's not around, so you're thinking he's gone, I'm going to be gone. Okay, some mothers have the thing, some women have a thing where at least I'm putting a roof over their head, at least I'm putting some clothes on their back, and they've got some type of game system in the house that's good enough because it's more than what their father's doing for them, which is the wrong attitude. Just because the father is gone does not give us permission as women to stay away or not tend to our children the way we should. As tough as that may be, as unfair as that may be, it's reality. Another thing is too is getting away, partying, or being away from your children just to get away from reality. It kind of ties into the last part, but not because it's stressful. It can be stressful, especially if you don't have the family support and you don't have friends that you can utilize to help you with raising your children. It can be very, very stressful, mind breaking, Some women, they, take certain type of drugs, harsh drugs and drink just to get away from reality because it's just that tough. Anytime you raise another human being other than yourself, because it's hard to deal with yourself, right? Sometimes. So it's definitely hard, but it's just definitely not an excuse to stay away from children that, our children, your children. Okay. Another thing is when you stay away and you're on the dating scene, you're dating all the guys, the guys are giving you attention because sometimes, especially if you didn't, you wasn't the one that broke up with your child's father broke up with you. A lot of times, getting a lot of male attention can be a great thing. It's a temporary self-esteem booster and can lead to more children. Because if you're, fraternizing with these men and at times, having sexual relationships with these men, I mean, it could lead to more children, which can increase the poverty rate. It can increase it because you're having more kids with men that are not making a commitment, but they're just having sex with you, and then there's more kids to follow that. So the question is, what can we do about some of that, right? Well, I wanted to talk about first how it affects our children. Okay, one of the things is their grades drop in school because of lack of attention and love from home. Because we're giving our love and attention in other places. There's so many places to do that at, right? There's Facebook, there's Instagram. Wanting to put your makeup on, so you can be cute on the cam. All that takes time. That's very time consuming, in chat rooms and, things of that nature. The children are sitting there while we're off in virtual reality. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be out the house, just being inside the home and not, paying them attention, their grades start to drop. Okay, because you always hear about that, statistic wise with African American children, their grades are dropping. It's not because they're not intelligent. We have some of the most brilliant and very intelligent children. It's the time that has to be spent watering the flower, okay, watering the seed, and that's referring to our children. They're beautiful and they're bright. They need the attention and they need the work. They need someone that's going to work with them. Okay, and that's one of the ways we can increase their grades in school is by spending more time as a mother with our children. And that's why it's important for us to have education ourselves so that we won't have to be totally reliant on a teacher to teach our children some of the basics that we can teach them ourselves. Another thing that happens when we're out like that, the children are left unattended. Okay, and it's not even about them, being of age. Even when they get into the age where they can legally watch themselves, 13, 14 years old, those are the ages where, as a mother, you definitely have to keep your eagle eye on your teenager. Because they're at the age where they feel like their bodies are starting to develop as a grown person, but their mind, we all know their mind can get them into things. Well, their mind is not developed and their body can get them into trouble that their mind is not prepared for. So we have to be there and, yes, give up some of our life, because that's what it's really about. It's not just about jumping in front of a car to give your life to your child. It's about giving up your time, because your life is your time and time is life. And as a mother, those are some of the things that we give up to produce life. So it's not just about popping out a baby during labor. It's about spending the time that it takes in that house or doing wherever you do, go on trips with your children and really putting that time in to them so that they won't be left unattended. And another effect that happens, when, we as mothers, we don't pay enough attention to our children and we're out, it can cause autism and ADHD. There's other factors that go along in that, but it can also cause those things. Okay, like I said, even from the womb, a child, a fetus can feel when it's not wanted, or the anger, or the tension emotionally from its mother, even when it comes out, and it's a child, so we definitely want to do those things because, one of the things that they try to, say in a lot of our school systems is, our children have ADHD, they have autism. When, oh, you slap them on some pills, he or she is not behaving right. Some of that behavioral problem is coming from inside the home. Okay, because if the father's there, that's great. And that's what we're shooting for, is more marriages and more families. But as a mother, if you got handed the short end of the stick, you have to be there, okay, and give your child the attention, like I said, because they're slapping ADHD and autism on our children left or right, okay, and that's not always necessarily the case. There's nothing mentally, a lot of times it's not nothing mentally challenging going on with our children, other than the fact that we have to place ourselves in that child's presence so they can know that they're loved, regardless of what happened with the father, okay? And lastly, when we go out and when we're partying and Facebooking and Instagramming and camming with some guy or whatever, the children are left unguarded, especially when you're out the house. You're leaving them with somebody else, anybody that will watch them. Sometime even your other family members, a friend or something like that, or even just a daycare provider. They're left unguarded, and all sorts of godforsaken things can happen. Not to say that they are happening, but it gives it room to happen. And that's not what we want as mothers. So, what can we do as mothers, okay? What can we do as mothers that can produce a positive change in our children's lives? Number one, I always suggest, is prayer. Now, if you don't believe in God, I suggest that you find a relationship with them. If not, that's fine. Everyone has a right to their own opinion and viewpoint. But if you do, it's good to pray, because it's those times where we feel like we're up a wall, highly frustrated, back against the wall. Those type of points can lead you into mental illnesses. And children, they need someone that's stable-minded as well. So not only the house, the food, the electricity, but they need someone that's stable-minded. And if you feel yourself drifting off, find a corner to go pray in. Pray to God. That always tends to calm me in my, moments of, turmoil. So number one is prayer. Number two is, like I said, every grown-up deserves party time, happy time, time away from the children. But the thing is to set a schedule for date or, going out. I say that because it gives the child a sense of continuity. Like they know, hey, mom's going out this time, Fridays or every other weekend or whatever. And it gives them a sense of peace to know, hey, this is the time I know mom's going out. It's not like every time or, every other day mom's out and I don't know where she is or I don't know when she's coming back. That's not what we want to develop in our children, okay? And another thing is, I'll leave you with this. As a mother, you are Mother Earth. You're the queen of civilization. And the first teacher of a child is its mother. It's not a teacher. It's its mother. Okay? So that pretty much wraps up this segment. It's been a pleasure talking with you all. If you would like to get in contact with me, you can at thetruthwithtrinity.com. I do have a new website up. You can come check it out. And you can listen to some of the podcasts. You can also check me out on youtube.com under the same name, which is The Truth with Trinity. You can also check me out on Spotify. It's been a pleasure. And always remember, if you can't tell the truth with anyone, you can with Trinity. Peace and blessings.